Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining me here today. I'm really excited about this because I get to share with you the August edition of Crafts Beautiful magazine, and this is where we've got a beautiful stamp and die set from Two Red Robins being brought to you. And it's an incredible set. I can't wait to show you how much you can actually do with it, how much is actually packed into this as well. And it's a really good size stamp set on here. You're getting tons to play with. There's loads of artwork. So I hope throughout the video today I can share with you a little bit of inspiration really onto where you could take this collection, what you could do with it, and maybe something that would inspire a new theme of project. But there's some really nice contemporary elements that are being built into this set. So if I take you down over here just to show you what you're getting, when you see the front of your magazine, you'll be presented with this. Now it is absolutely gorgeous. You can see you've got your wraparound here which has your dies on here, and these are the beautiful elements. And these have all been taken from a collection that we call Bumblebee Barn, which was absolutely beautiful, but it's been exclusively developed into stamps for you, which means those beautiful elements you can see here, we have developed into stamps of different variations and sizes and added in some beautiful finishing touches and sentiments. But you get your 5 dies here, which are beautiful. Your little bumblebee here matches it with your stamps. You can stamp and colour in. As well, you're getting 25 stamps on here, so you can see the size of this. This is an A4 sheet of paper, and you're getting 25 elements. So I just want to talk you through some of these elements. Now, if we take it over, these are all a photopolymer clear stamp on here, so you can see the artwork imagery that you're getting, the super fine detail from your little beehive here. As well, ones like this, I mean, they are just exquisite. I mean, that flourish of apples there with all the foliage. They're really contemporary, really stylish, beautiful and easy to line up as well because obviously they're transparent. But when you're incorporating these into a project as well, we have got 8 beautifully designed papers. Now these are right up my street, but these are gorgeous. These are going to be great for everyday crafting. But these 8 individual designs are available on the Highlight Crafts website. So that's highlightcrafts.com, and you can go to there to download these papers. And you can see there, perfect for your mats and layers, brilliant for stamping onto as well. So you can build up all of your card projects with these. But great for different types of crafting. Maybe you want to do a little bit of mixed media with them, absolutely you can do. But they're great for colouring in because they're super easy to follow with the guide points. So if I flip this over, you'll probably be able to see some of the imagery a little bit easier there. But honestly, in here, it is, I mean, if we just take a look, some of the sentiments in here just for you. You've got here for you, Bumblebee Beauty, just be yourself, really positive, be happy. So really appropriate positive sentiments in here to go with your collection. And it's a really generous size, a generous amount. So this is your latest August edition from Crafts Beautiful. So I'm going to take you through and do some crafting with you. So as well, the link will be in the comments as well to everything that included within this collection if you wanted to subscribe to the 7 issues of the Crafts Beautiful magazine. So check that out as well, but do leave us comments on there and we can get back to you about anything that you want to know. So what I'm going to do first is we're going to go straight into a load and fold and use some of those beautiful stamps. So in here, what I'm going to do is I've got, I mean, the selection is just brilliant. Dipping into these, I'm going to go with this one here. So I'm going to lay this one out, and I'm also going to be using this flourish here of foliage. Now I'm going to take some stamping card, and I've got around a 5x5 piece here. I'm just going to place this into my load and fold to stamp with. And one thing I love about these stamps is, of course, the way that they've been built and structured is there's tons of snippable elements in here. So when we're looking at a stamp like this, if I just place this down, you can see here the amount of playroom you've got with it, because of course all of these foliage, you can cut all that away, you could clip it off the stem if you wanted to, you can decoupage and make them 3-dimensional, great as well for when you're using your embossing powders with these. There's tons to be explored in this. So I'm going to take this away, I'm just going to load it up with a pigment dye ink for this one. I'm going to do some watercolouring with these, so it's the perfect ink to choose to use on this set. Here we are. So I'm just going to take this down, and you can see there how beautiful that stamp is. It's just incredible the amount of detail you've got in here, and as well 25 stamps. then all of that detail runs through each and every single one of those. So I'm just going to load up one more time with my ink, just on any areas I hadn't applied as much pressure to, just so I get an even stamp distributed across my page. There we are, beautiful. So what I'm going to do is take my carrier sheet here and just put my stamps back on. And of course, on your carrier sheet, all of the artwork is indicated, meaning you can align these up. Great for storage as well. And then just to show you a little bit more in detail, the dies that we've got with these here. So they come mounted to your cover mount strip on your magazine. And you've got a beautiful foliage flourish here with, of course, the blossoms of the apple tree with the leaves there. So you've got all of the embossed lines. You can see here in your die where you've got your embossed lines and your cut lines as well, which means that when you die cut something like this, you've got snippability. You've got the freedom to enhance and accentuate the size of a die like this, starting from small scale, maybe building this around a wreath or a wraparound. It's an incredible value for money element to have within a collection like this because it allows you to be able to extend on it. But then you can see we've got those blossom elements here enlarged. Again, a tiny little flourish here, which is great just to add. You know, sometimes when you're building a project and you've got an area where there's a bit of open space where you think I could have a leaf tapering off just in that direction. This is a stamp or a die for that. And again, we've got a little bumblebee here in flight, which would look fabulous cut on your die cutting machine and then maybe mounted on some acetate so it looks like it's floating through the air. And then we've got some little decoupage elements there of that blossom. So my stamp on my page is now dried. So what I'm going to do is just take this away and then I'm going to dip into some watercolour. Now with your stamping, this is great because of course you use whatever medium you want to. You can go into your watercolours, you could go into your pencils, you could go into your pens, your colouring pens, absolutely anything for something like this. But all I'm going to do is I'm going to work into my palette here. Move that across, there we go. So if I bring it down here, you can see what I'm doing, like that. So what I've got is a beautiful set of greens here. So I'm going to build up a little green sort of stash of colour here. And I'm actually going to add a little bit of black into it. Now, the reason for that is we can make a really realistic sort of forest green in here. And I'm just going to bring it over the leaves. And do you know what? I'm not even being super cautious with my line because I'm going to cut this out. So I'm just going and doing a wash over the leaves here. And then as I go back into that colour, bringing it into the black, I'm just going to bring it out from the centre just to sort of give me a little bit of shading in there. There we go. So again, into that green, bringing a little bit of black in there, a bit more water, just to sort of get a little pool of colour going. And I love watercolour because you've got full control with this. Meaning when you're colouring in your images, you can then enhance them to as deep of pigment as you want. Or when you're using watercolour before it's dried, you can still remove it. You can push the colour away. If you're using a good quality watercolour card or stamping card, you've got the option to absolutely do that. So I'm going to spread those around there like that, as we can see. A little bit of the brighter green there, just to add some hints of colour. And when you're colouring in foliage, of course, it's all natural. It's all something that's different every single time. So you can see there how I've just coloured that in super, super quickly. And then going in with your deeper shades, just around the edges, just to get that shading in. It's so, so achievable for absolutely anybody. But what I'm going to do is this stamp I've got here, I've already cut that one out. So you can see I've gone round it and snipped it out. So I've got it now actually freestanding. So I'm going to go in with our green again here. And I'm going to bring this down and colour around it. And this is a great kit. It's a brilliant kit if you're on the go crafting. So of course it's a manageable size for you to take with you. Maybe you're going away for the weekend, or you're having a little trip away. You're maybe just wanting to craft with a few friends. Maybe you're going over and you're all bringing something to take to craft. This is great for something like that because it's got so much to it, but it's within a captured space, meaning that with your 25 stamps and 5 dies, you can create an array of projects with something like that, but you don't have to take your entire craft room with you. You can take just a few elements like I've got here today, your favourite colouring pencils, one ink pad, and some cardstock, and away you go with a collection like this. And the one thing I've noticed that runs through this kit, when I show you those papers here, with papers like this, they're super on trend. They're very quirky. I mean, the ones here with all the honey pots on are great for children as well, but these are printable. So think of surfaces you could be printing these onto. Maybe you want to print onto your rice papers. Maybe you want to print onto vellums or acetate to create windows. But a honeycomb one like that, these are even brilliant for like your home decor. All those different themes and varieties of things you can create. I mean, the depth and colour in there. If you're snipping in and out of these, creating your own irregular hexagon shapes, absolutely exquisite. So 100% recommend. Something like this, printed or decorated onto a little makeup bag or onto a little storage box, these are something that you would see in shops and you would pay a fortune for if they are pre-made gifts. And you can do that all with this collection, which is just incredible. So back to our stamping. What I'm going to do is just, now that that colour has dried, I can go in with a slightly darker shade just around the edges. There we go. And I'm using almost an olive green for this one. It's a subtle green, but I'm using it because the backing papers I've chosen, I wanted the green to tone in quite nicely. So it was a very achievable colour to create because I've just mixed my black and a lighter green together. And then I'm going to go into the centre of this and I'm just going to grab a little bit of red here and just blend it out. So it's the very pale red, but it's going to create that sort of blossom that we want. Here we go. And then just touches in little areas like this, then bring the water in and blend all of that out. So I'm going to quickly skim over this leaf and then we can start to assemble our project and show you how it can be created. But a stamp of this size, you can see here in my hand next to it, that's one of 25 stamps in this collection, which is just phenomenal. It is fab. But when I saw the papers and the stamps together, my face just lit up because I could see how much you could actually create with it. So a little bit of the brown colour just to run through the stem here. And I could go deeper with the pigments, but I quite like it being quite subtle because I want there to be areas on the project for our eye to rest. I want it to have focal points, but I'd like it to have relaxing points through the project. So I'm going to leave this quite muted tones coloured in here. So I'm going to set my watercolour just to one side. And then for our card, I've started off, and I'll assemble it bit by bit for you. So we've got this beautiful honeycomb background here. And then I'm going to bring on some mirror card. So I'm going to use my wet glue for this. Here we are. So I'm going to add some wet glue around the sides for this one. And I'm going to bring up my first matte layer, two-dimensional, because we're going to add some height at the front with all our foliage and our stamped decoupage. So bring that mirror card down. There we go. And then we're going to add our next layer on from our papers, which is these beautiful beautiful bumblebees here. So bring these around. So I'm adding glue around the edge, and because I'm on mirror card and matte card, I'm going to add some tape just in the centre so that glue can dry, but I've got an instant grab. There we go. And you can see how these projects can just come to life so effortlessly, but it's so achievable. So again, we've got our background built up. So now with our stamped images, we can start to bring these in. I've got some here that I've been cutting out. I'm just going to finish trimming this one. So you can see as I've cut them, all I'm doing is going in with my scissors like this, and I'm just wiggling the paper. It's super quick, but I'm just leaving a trim white border that's probably about a mil and a half thick. And sometimes I don't get it even going all the way around the edge, but because I've watercoloured it, it's very forgivable. It gives you that sort of reliability knowing that I don't have to be a super experienced fussy cutter to be able to achieve this. I just need a pair of scissors, and away you go. So I've trimmed around that one. So I've got 3 pieces of foliage here. I've got my large stamp, and then I'm going to start to put these down. So I'm going to have my gold one here, and I'm going to put some foam tape in the middle. Here we go. And I'm going to build this one up. Get the back of my tape off. There we are. So I'm going to have this one raised up because it's going to be our largest one. Have it about there. And then I'm going to stick this one on as well. But before I do that, I'm going to take the backing off so we can get that off really easily. There we are. And same again with this one. So we're building up some discs here with our shapes. So if I set that to the side, I can see that then overlapping, and I printed some of these double-sided because I thought let's have some choice. So we've got that beautiful side this way, or this one, but I've chosen to stick with our honeycomb, which goes across the back. And then we've got another one of our honeycomb discs here. And you can see how we're building this up, and what we're actually creating here is a bit of composition, but playing with all of the imagery as well. So something quite contemporary. And this is exactly the sort of collection that is perfect for this time of year as well. Summer crafting, but again, all year round if you wanted to use that foliage. You could use this and depict it as a poinsettia if you wanted to for Christmas. You could colour it in red, decoupage up the leaves. Absolutely, you can do that. So again, I'm just going to grab a bit of foam tape for the centre of this one. Here we are. Stick that one down. And then I'm going to grab our sentiment stamp. So I think Be Happy is a beautiful stamp. So I'm literally going to take our load and fold, pop it straight in there. Here we are. So I'm going to pop the stamp just in there on top, like that. I'm just going to quickly tape that down, pick it up. There we go. I'm just going to load up my stamp. I think straight on there like that, I think is so, so sweet. It looks absolutely adorable. These are great as well for children's cards. Very classy, contemporary, but they've got that sort of sophisticated look to them that gives you a professional finish, which is effortless every time because you've had the artwork to be able to achieve that look. It's really your creativity which gives you the freedom to create your own card shapes. So the little Be Happy, I'm going to stick down at the bottom because that means that when we've made this project, it can be for absolutely any occasion we want it to be. It's tailored to that. It's not suited just for a birthday. It's not just an anniversary. It's for anything. It's a positive card with a beautifully positive sentiment. So our foliage can now sit inside here. We can bring a little bit around on this side, like that. And I think maybe some more going up here would look lovely. But as well, if I start to stick some of these down, bring that one round here like that. Stick this one just to there. So we've got some little anchor points. This one can go just there like that to glue those down. Again, I'm going to do the same with this one. There we are. Bring those down. And it's looking absolutely gorgeous as well. We've got some beautiful little butterflies here. So I might just quickly stamped one of these out, just cut around there, there we go, and just wiggle it around just where the legs are, and just cut all the way around this, leaving a little border. It looks so, so cute. I absolutely love butterfly stamps. I think they're gorgeous. I don't know why I keep saying butterflies, but these are definitely bees. So bees is what I'm cutting out. The beautiful little bees here, of course, goes with our sentiment, Be Happy. Do you know, I think I keep saying butterflies because last night, I don't know where they came from, but we had so many butterflies in our garden and it was absolutely beautiful. I'd never seen anything like it before, and I think it was because of the beautiful hot weather that we've been having. All the flowers have opened up and it just attracted everything. It looked incredible. But these are our lovely little bees here. So we're going to stick one of our bees down, and I love them actually monochrome. If you were to do a card all in black and white, I think it would look absolutely gorgeous. But if I get a little bit of foam tape here, a little bumblebee can stick straight just to the top. Here we are. You can go just on here like that. And it would be super sweet if we have enough, just one more, just in the corner. And I think this is a brilliant collection for if you're thinking, well, I've done stamping before, but I've not done a lot of die cutting. With your 5 dies in this kit, it will give you the ability to explore that area of crafting. And that's what I absolutely love about these collections, is it always gives you a bit of a taster to a different area you may have not tried before, or a different theme. If you didn't want to have loads of additional elements, you've got them, but then it's very generous. In a stamp set with 25 stamps on the front of your magazine is extremely generous. It's a wonderful kit, but this will give you the option to play with that. So I'm just going to bring my scissors around here. Again, always twist in the paper, make it much easier for yourself. There we go, just around here. And as well, in a collection like this, what I love is the fact that these have never been seen as stamps before. So elements in here have been dies within the Bumblebee Barn collection from Two Red Robins, but this is something completely exclusive. These have never ever been stamps. So the artwork that we know a lot of you absolutely loved is now in a stamp form for you, which is just brilliant. So maybe if any of you at home have got those dies already, maybe you had those collections and those elements, you've now got the ability to turn this into any project you want because you've got all elements you could ever wish for. So I'm going to bring this onto another white mat here, and what I'm going to do is just mark it just here and here. And I'm just going to quickly trim this down over here a second. So I'm going to trim that off just at the top and the bottom. Here we are. So I'm just going to take that round and trim it. Here we go. So I've got my matte layer for my card base now. Beautiful. So we can slip this behind our card and it just finishes it off. So I love this project. And I think you'll find yourself absolutely loving them as well. A new stamp set, a new die set to play with as well. Don't forget about those 8 backing papers for you to download from the Highlight Crafts website. That's highlightcrafts.com. You can go there, check those out, have a play with them. When you've downloaded them as well, have a think about changing the colorways, suit them to your project, or do what I did and print them in black and white as well. But when you've got them like this, have a play, snip into them, create your backgrounds with them. Great for mixed media as well as paper crafting, but some true versatility on this collection. I mean, this one is very almost like folk arty with the way that it's been coloured in, the imagery, the repeat pattern, the really contemporary and stylish, very tasteful cards. But you can see this project here is something really, really achievable for absolutely any of you at home to be able to create. So I'd love to know what it is that you're creating with your latest Crafts Beautiful projects. But this is the August edition, so it will be in your local supermarkets, and go and check that out because it's there now for you to go and have a look at. So thank you so much for joining me today. I've thoroughly loved sharing this with you, and I can't wait to see what you're going to create with it. So take care, everybody, and have a wonderful day.